Hello everyone, in this video clip I'm going to demonstrate on how to model up a new exhaust system using 3D sketching. For those who saw my previous video, I made a note that when I was designing this frame it made some contact with the exhaust here, and then I was gonna go ahead and model up a new exhaust system. So simply what I'm going to do is go into the 3D sketch configuration here, and what I've done here is eliminate some of the components here just so that it makes it easier for me to visualize the path from one point to the other. What I also done here is I already model up the first exhaust here, and the reason I did that is because the one that I'm gonna create is exactly the same thing as this one, with one exception right here in the corner, and basically the same steps. So for demo purposes, I figure I just model one up and then just continue on with the other one here. With that said, I'm gonna simply go and add in place that part, and I'm going to go into the 3D line here, and you can see that it kind of gives you a little preview of that, and basically those are the exact same steps I'm going to use to basically create the path of the exhaust, and it's going to go from one point to the other. So I'm going to simply select that line command here, and I'm going to zoom into the center of that circle here and simply start kind of working my way down here. So I'm gonna simply start right about here, and I'm gonna go and select a point in space here. What I've done here is I wanted these two exhaust points to meet at a certain point in space and get them as close as I can so they don't overlap. So the best way is simply just creating a dot in space and kind of moving from that point on. And I'm gonna do exactly the same thing, just kind of follow that exhaust system that I already made there, and I'm gonna zoom in a little bit over here, and this is what the difference is. Basically just smooth it out a little bit as far as I can, right about, let's say right about there. And the next one, I'm gonna simply go into this front view right here, and the same thing, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm centered to the exhaust right about there. And then the next step is to kind of select the right view here and slightly make it up and make sure that I'm kind of centered between here and there. So I'm gonna bring it right about here. Perfect. And the next step is to simply go and connect and form a triangle here, and there it is. I'm gonna simply escape out of there, and the reason I did that is because this L shape right here, I only intended that to be as a reference point to get to this point right here. So at this point I really didn't need this right here. So there it is, because I really wanted it just to get to this point right here. Okay, so I'm going to continue on, and let me select the endpoint of that right there and select the right view again, and this time I'm going to bring it right about here, because at that point it's going to angle. You see that it starts to angle in this direction here, so I'm going to place it right about there. And kind of from time to time, ideally you want to check if it's going right through, if it's somewhat centered to all your components. It looks like it is here. So at this point I'm going to go into my top view here and select that right about here, and another one right about here, because I'm gonna basically do exactly the same thing, and come back and select the right here and basically form that triangle. And again, I'm gonna simply go and delete some of these relationships there, so that way when I delete it my sketch doesn't go. There you go, perfect. And actually I think I did this a little bit. I didn't go a little further out here. You can see that, which is fine. I can always come back and modify that. You can see my triad right here. Where is it? There it is, over here. Just drag that over here. And let's see, right about here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select this plane here and simply just come back and select this. There you go, and just drag it just a little bit over here. There you go. And let's see here. There you go, right about there. Perfect, and I think that's pretty good. And maybe not. Maybe just bring that a little bit more. And again, select that plane here and make sure I just simply grab it back a little further in. And that looks about right. Okay, so the next thing is to come back here, and before I do that, I want to make sure that I have my piers locate here, and that's going to allow me basically to select components from other parts of the assembly here. And I want to make sure I want to make that perpendicular to that, which is right about here, and simply come back and connect that last one right there, and that looks about right. Okay, and you can see that and what I'm gonna do is simply just kind of go through it, make sure that everything's the correct path here, and then there's nothing that's gonna run into or make contact with, and it looks about right. I'm gonna come back, zoom from the bottom here, look through there. It looks good. It looks perfect, and kind of go through all the way up to the top here, and it looks pretty good. Alright, so the next step is to simply go back again and select the 3D fillet, and at this point simply start selecting let's see, right about there, and make that one as big as possible, and simply start selecting all the geometry that I need and make that as big as I can there. And there's one more right here, and make that smooth transition point, and again there to there. Now you have to be careful with this one. You don't want to make it too see this right here, you don't want to run into it here, so you might want to bring it just a little bit right about there. Okay, and same thing with this one. That looks about right. And the last one. And sometimes what you want to do is simply kind of match also the existing one here. I mean, you could actually enter a value if you knew exactly what the other one was, so it would be exact. But just to kind of show you here that I could simply start selecting some of these, and let's see there, and then the last one here, just there it is right there. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is actually select my sweep here, make sure it's a single path, select the whole path there, and then select the cross section, and you can see there. And sometimes what I like to do before I go, exit out of here, make sure that it's not obviously making any contact with anything. It looks pretty close there, but it's good there, and all the way to the top here, which is perfect. Okay, so there you have it. Just get back out of there, and there's the exhaust. And like I said, I would have done exactly the same steps to do the other one. So thank you for watching.